Hello, my friends. Hello, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. How are you guys? So good to see you guys once again. I hope you guys are having a great day. Another interesting day, to say the least. So good to see you guys there. So much going on. What is on your mind tonight? Doesn't it feel like surreal? Hasn't life kind of just felt different lately? Doesn't it feel like everything is sort of changing so rapidly? Everything. Doesn't it feel more and more almost like a dream every day? Good to see everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat room. Yeah, reality itself feels different. It just feels different. And you know, there are many people out there that have been following the thought lines of different dimensions and ascension and feel that we're already in a higher dimension. And we just have to kind of realize it. And our creative powers and abilities have increased, and we just have to utilize them and start manifesting what we want to manifest instead of going along with what the cabal, the Illuminati, the deep state has in mind for us. It's interesting. I was out running some errands. As I have told you guys, there's like a storm that's supposed to be coming here. And it varies, but yesterday they were saying 1 to 2 feet for this greater area. And you would think it when you saw the people out there today. They were out there like just prepping like there's no tomorrow. There's so many people out there, and I went into a Tractor Supply and I went into a Lowe's. And there were no generators. I made a note of certain things I was checking out. Every generator was sold out. And I think people of course they're getting ready because we're going to probably get a big snowfall. At least we have the potential for that. But I think it's more than that. I think people are sensing what's going on, what's coming. And so they're preparing. They are really getting ready for whatever comes. We're seeing it in the news. We're seeing it everywhere we look. They're talking about EMPs. They're talking about CMEs. There's just so much talk of the grid going down for one reason or another. And as Kayla is saying, they make TV shows, movies, even cartoons. And you know what? It's so much predictive programming. They're trying. They recognize the fact that we are co-creators. We're all co-creators. So what they're doing is they're trying to get us to subconsciously manifest it, as well as they are trying to do the same themselves, as well as they're obviously manipulating actual physical situations that are going on. And so I had seen more X's up in the sky today than I ever remember seeing. For whatever reason, those doing the chemtrailing, and again, some say that there's not even really pilots doing most of the chemtrailing anymore. It's all drones doing the chemtrailing. Well, whoever's doing it, they're doing an awful lot of X's up in the sky. I haven't seen so many X's and, just obvious patterns. It's like they are not worried at all about trying to hide intentions anymore. In fact, it feels like it's quite the opposite. It's kind of like in your face. Yeah, we are chemtrailing. Well, hey, we'll let you know that's part of the plan, right? Which they have done now. Now they're talking about chemtrailing in the future, but I mean, they've been chemtrailing for decades now. But now it's like out in the open. And then I had one family member just mentioning to me that in California they were testing the soil and they find thermite in the soil, which is again that product which will burn at super high temperatures, and which was thought to have been in the 9/11, with the World Trade Centers, as part of what actually did bring them down. And so I see many beautiful, wonderful people in the chat room, and so many of you guys hold so much light and so much love, and I love you guys, and I see, those human angels that are doing so much to really anchor the light in here in this dimension. And we have to basically, as we've been saying, prepare for anything and everything. But let's, maintain a positive focus, even though it could be tough at times. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who do we have with us?
My name is Ray. I'm calling from Gladwin, Michigan.
Hey, Ray. How you doing tonight?
Caller. Good. How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
I'm just listening to your live broadcast. It's on the 6th, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Anyways, I called about you talk about the chemtrails. Well, they've been doing a lot of Xing, and it's been cloudy for almost 10 days here. We actually got some sun out today, so I could get some energy. And I wanted just to say that I love your show, and I have a dog that just looks just like your dog. Her name is Shasha.
Ah.
And she's my best friend. And I really enjoy your show, and I like to talk more, but I know there's other people. A lot of energy is coming in. Actually, I'm getting a surge right now talking to you. I've been going through enlightenment since 2011. I lived in South Florida for a while, and that was when I started getting my experiences. But I'm to a point now where this is unbelievable, and I can't wait for more.
It is. Yeah, it is an unbelievable thing that we're seeing, and ultimately it's a good thing. It's just, it's a roller coaster ride that we're going through, and we just kind of have to enjoy it as best we can, and keep focusing on the positive, even when they're spraying whatever they're spraying over our heads all the time.
Exactly. My point of my life now is every morning I wake up, it's a positive day. It has to be. Because as I know, everything you manifest what you want in your life and what you want the world to be. The more we realize what we think and how we react to things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say? Make the world, make things manifest. And more so that with my deep meditations and the things that I see and the colors that I see. One thing I wanted to ask you, I see purple a lot, and I know that's supposed to be the head above the eyebrows, right? The chakra.
Yeah, purple is it's a high vibrational color, and there's various hues to the purple. More of a violet tinge, is very purifying, and that's really lifting us up into the higher vibrational frequencies. So when you're seeing that, that you're in that process, the ascension process, and you're lifting up and shedding. So it's a good thing.
Yes, very good. I mean, like I said, it's unbelievable once you start opening up and knowing what your true self is and realizing who you really are.
Yeah, then there's no fear.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Then there's no fear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what I live in a small town of 3,000. Little maybe, a little more, a little less here and there. And it's kind of backwards. People are in their own little world. But for me, I'm opening these people up, and I'm actually seeing people when I talk to them. They may think I'm crazy. But like my best friend for 3 years here, he says, Ray, you're not crazy. Now I'm actually seeing things, and you have to go about things a certain way, but some think you're a little cuckoo, but after a while they know you're not, and it's remarkable, people are waking up, they are seeing the truth, and I'm very excited about what the future holds, actually what every day holds for us. We live in the now. not really too much. I don't look too much in the future. I just want things to be full of love, peace, harmony, full of life, freedom, and a healthy and clean world. Mother Earth needs us so much right now. And if people only would concentrate on giving this, when I mean concentrate on the good, they would see the changes. I see the changes every day. But it has to be a positive. No matter what, it has to be positive. You have to be in that state. And, like I said, here, there's a lot of people that are ill. And I know it's not all physical. It's more mental. It's more of them waking up every morning. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I'm sick. No, you get up, you get out of bed, you thank God, you thank whoever your creator for them. You got up this morning and you bless Mother Earth with all you have. The light shines on you. It shines on me every morning.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And so let me ask you, do you feel energy? Do you feel yourself tingling,
Yes.
vibrating, buzzing?
Yes, right now. As I speak to you, I'm full of energy. I'm very hairy, and all the hairs on my arms are standing up right now.
See, that's part of the process that we're going through, because everybody is getting more and more sensitive to it. So, we could actually heal ourselves so much quicker and just purge ourselves of anything negative so much quicker than before. So everything is so much more changeable, which means we could change it in a positive way as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's true. Like, okay, for instance, 2 months ago, I had burned my foot with I was changing a fryer out, and I went to take the grease out, actually the cleaning water with the solution in it, and I dumped it on my left foot. Well, I had first and second degree burns on the left foot. And believe it or not, I had that thing healed up in 2 weeks. 2.5 where I could actually walk on it with no problem. I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't go to the hospital. But I had to because of work, so I went to the clinic. And 2 weeks later, I went. He goes, well, when did this happen? He says, it's almost healed. He said, what did you do? And I looked at him, I said, it's all in the mind. Mm-hmm. And I used essential oils. That's what I'm into now. I do my own oils, my own treatments. And the weird part was when I would take my hands and not touch my foot, but just go over it, I could feel the energy of it healing. Just tingling and just drawing whatever the pain that was there. And maybe I sound a little cuckoo, but...
No, not at all.
It worked. It worked, and I believe that in my previous lives, maybe I was a healer or, something like that. But I feel now I'm here to teach. And with me being in the small town, I don't get to talk to a lot of people. And, it's kind of hard. I have another half, but that person is in a different where I am. I don't, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The person's not where I am right now. And we've been together 22 years. And, I hear so much, you should do this, you should do that. But you know what? I'm guided to do the right thing. I know I'm on the right path. And I will stick it out with this, my other half until whatever it'll be. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words now. But you talk now. Ask me something.
Well, I mean, you definitely are feeling energy. You said all this started about 2011 for you.
Yes. Actually, when it started was when I seen the trial for the Anunnaki movie.
Ah, I remember.
Something clicked in my head. When I seen that trial, I said, I got to see this. Things start happening. We moved from Fort Lauderdale to Daytona. We were in Fort Lauderdale probably 20-some years, and then we decided to move out to Daytona. And then I started doing research like everybody. Everybody goes through. When I first started going through, I was angry, about the lies and all the misguided things we've been taught through our lives. Going through the ascension process and doing my research. Well, one day I was outside looking over the balcony over the ocean, the Atlantic, and I look up and I see a saucer. And I'm thinking, wow, did I smoke too much, or, am I seeing things? So I put my head down and looked at the ocean, looked back up, it was still there. But the weird part was, like the round part on the bottom, like the exhaust, there was like these big emeralds all around the bottom of it. And it was bizarre, So then I looked up again, it was gone. But while I was there, I've had so many experiences of seeing craft, seeing ships. And one I had seen, something inside me told me not to look at it directly. It actually looked like it came out of the condo that I lived in. And it was a rust color, looked like a shuttle but with no outer wings. As it went over the ocean, it lit up, the exhaust lit up in a ball of fire, but no sound. And when this voice in me that told me not to look at it, I seen everything out of my peripheral vision until it went over the ocean. That's when I actually looked at it straight on.
That's pretty cool. And so you feel that was something higher vibrational?
Yes, it was. Very much so. For something to say not to look at it directly, it was either telling me to be careful, that there was something not right about that vehicle that I seen, and just to mind my own business and just keep staring at the ocean. If that, that's how I felt, and I haven't told a lot of people of the experiences I've had because they think I'm crazy, there was another time, it looked like a golden ship going along the beach, but it had this light going around it. As it went by me, it felt like it x-rayed me.
Very cool.
Yes, there's a lot, and we were right, it was really close to Cape Canaveral too. And believe it or not, there's a lot of weird things that go on there that people aren't aware of. A lot of lights, a lot of strange things that people don't pay attention to. But like I said, and I was thinking one time, I said, well, we go to Florida for everybody to go on vacation. Why wouldn't they come there to see everybody on vacation?
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many intelligent entities in this universe. It's mind-boggling, and I do think that it's really the person in so many ways that brings about the entities that come to them. So it's kind of like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes, I believe that. Well, here too, there was a couple times I had to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Of course, it's dark. And I looked up, there's this bright, looked like a star, come over me, and it just lit up, moved over a little bit, lit up again, and then took off. And again, you think you're seeing things, but no, I didn't. I didn't see, I seen it, and it felt like it was my brothers and sisters from somewhere else that were telling me, Ray, hey, we're here, and that's how I feel. I know they're here. They're all over. They just, they're waiting for their time to show themselves. And for us that believe in them and know deep in our souls and our hearts that they are real, they will come to us first. I already know that. And for you and everyone else that were awake, we're the first ones they're going to come to. And I feel this, I know this.
And that's a beautiful thing, definitely. And when you have those experiences, it changes your whole perception of reality and just expands your consciousness greatly.
You know, and sometimes I think back when I was in my, you know, I'm 56 years old. You know, it took a long time for me to get where I am right now. And I asked myself before, why didn't this happen to me? And then, you know, I even thought it wasn't my time, you know, for me to be where I'm at now. And once a lot of us realize that it takes time to get where we're at, but we're all now moving quickly. We're moving quickly into this, if you want to call it ascension, or you want whatever you want to call it, you know, everybody's moving quickly into it, you know. It's not like when I first woke up, everybody was asleep, you know. People now are, I see, more awake, you know, and it's different, you know, and you know, I listen to a lot. I listen to you, and there's a couple other ones I listen to. Like I said, I really enjoy listening to you. You make you know, you just bring a lot of vibration. I click with you, you know what I mean? And it's just a great thing. And I'm gonna get off, but I will call back again if you know, if it's good, and
Most definitely.
next time you do a show.
Most definitely. I'm glad that you called in, Ray, and feel free to call in anytime and share. And much love, my friend.
And God bless you, huh?
God bless you too.
Namaste.
Namaste, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye. God bless you.
And hello, caller. You're on the air. Who do we have with us now?
Hello, this is Ian Wren.
Hi. How you doing?
Now let me turn off my sound on this so I can talk to you. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. There we go. Now you on the speakerphone. I've been listening to you for quite some time, probably 3 months, and I find that your perception of how you communicate this whole array of facts that a lot of people are presenting, like Mark Bugley, John X Army, etc., etc. I love the way that you present things through, well, energetic art. Because you understand what it is, basically, that we're spirits. That we're spirits here in the material world, and that we're trying to move through this spiritually. And you don't impose a doctrine on it. And like you, I have been put through the Reiki, and I'm a Reiki master as of a year ago. So I appreciate the fact that you have that ability as well. I'll let you speak a little. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm on air.
Oh, no problem. It's understandable. And, you know, thank you for becoming a Reiki master, because it's a service for mankind as we start to spread this type of knowledge and realize we can heal ourselves. You know, so much of the time we don't need anything but just a shift in vibration in consciousness and just knowing it. And I really feel that for me, I guess it was probably messages either coming from my higher self or some spirit guides when I was a kid that told me, you know, hey, you know, when I was sick, you allowed yourself to get sick, you know, or even to the point where it was like telling me directly one time, you know, you got sick because you wanted to have an extra long Christmas vacation, and that is why you are sick right now. You know, it just coming right through, you know. So it's a case of allowing it in many cases.
I have quite a strange history. I served 13 years in the Army, was discharged as a medic. I came in as a mechanic for the first 3 years due to the fact that I had a car that broke down at age 32. I joined the Army at 33 in 1998 and had re-enlisted right before 9/11 for being a medic, because I had been for 2 years, an emergency technician in a county hospital. So I wanted to get back to doing healing, which basically I'd also worked 8 years in a psych unit for psychiatric patients, and they always liked me working because of my psychic abilities, because I could sense when something was going to go wrong. I could always sense if a patient was going to act up, and at certain points, like I would go into a room, and all of a sudden a nurse was being attacked. And, strange enough, one of my friend's houses, when I got out of the Army, he had a guest over, and she said, "Yeah, my mom was a nurse at Brahma." I said, "Yeah, really? What'd she do?" And she said, "Oh, she was worked in the psychiatric." I was like, "Yeah, what year?" And then she told me, and she said, "Yeah, she almost died." I said, "I think I might know your mom." And she told the whole incident, and then I realized that I was the one who saved her life. She put her mom on the phone, and her mom was like, "Yeah, this is Ken. Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. Thank you." And then they were all just like in awe, like, what happened? But the whole fact is that when you are gifted with certain things, even in the Army when I entered, they must have realized something was different about me, and they started, once I went to Korea, and I was sent to Korea, even being married, they enlisted me, telling me I wouldn't be sent to Korea when I met with the person I enlisted with. And I was sent straight to Korea, and separated from my wife and child for a year and a half. And when I got there, they asked me to look over this family, and of the person in Korea, you have people attached to your unit, and I can't think of what they're called, but they're Korean soldiers. And then we also had, I was at the Army Air Base in Korea, and so we had this base, and it had a fire department, and some officer all of a sudden, like mid-tour, said I was going to teach his children English. So I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." Being older and having English, I studied English in college, so yeah, I'll do it. And so I went to do it, went to go get all of the papers, all of the books, and then for some reason we never went to go teach them English, and all of a sudden I'm going to hang out with him and some Korean CIA person, and everybody at that unit thought I was CID, which is like police, and because for some reason they issued me a peach ID instead of a regular ID in civilian clothing. Now, all these things, I didn't think much of it at the time, but after I looked back, I thought, well, what was really going on? And then at the end of that tour, they had me see psychiatrist, psychologist, and I went through like 3 months of these intelligence and personality tests, and then every next unit I went to, I would do that. I would do these computer, like, they would test your, not only personality, but also your intuition. And I was sent to Germany for 5 years in Bavaria. And when I went there, I had to drive 2 hours, and it took 6 months to get through this test. And so I asked all my fellow unit members, all of my fellow soldiers, I said, when you guys go to a new unit, do you have to do these tests? And they said, no, and they looked at me kind of strange. But every new unit I went to, well, every time I would come up for a new duty, and if I was going to be sent off to war, all of a sudden I would get new orders, and I would not be sent to war. And I thought that was strange. And at the end of 13 years, I started having seizures. I started to have severe headaches, but I also had shown extreme psychic abilities, and this was kind of strange. While I was at Fort Stewart, this is Georgia, working in the emergency for 3 years, this is 2007 to 2010. In the middle of that, I was also, as the E5 or sergeant, running. They had me running this unit where it's outside of working in the emergency room. They had me running where soldiers would come in and out of going to war, and so we had to process. And I basically ran that and had to teach Sergeant First Class how to take it over after a year from me. And during that, one day I just looked at somebody and I said, I know how to look into people's eyes and know what they're thinking and know their history. And it's all bullshit. And I said, he goes, go do the next guy in line. I asked the next guy in line if I could do it. And so I looked at him, and he was bringing up his papers after he had gone through all the stations, like psychological, having his, all his shots. There were a lot of stations they had to go through. And, like, coming in or going out, they had to go through all these stations. And it's called, this in-processing, out-processing. And that's basically what I ran there in Fort Stewart for a year. And so when he came up to me and he looked me in the eye, I was like, you were going to go to college, you went to college, you partied too much, it wasn't your dad, you didn't have a dad present, it was your grandfather who thought you were going to be the hope for your family. You dropped out of college, you made everybody disappointed, now you joined the Army, everybody looks to you as doing something wonderful, you've made something in your life, and everybody's proud, and he almost started crying in front of me. He goes, how could you possibly know that? And then the person next to me is like, wow. And so then I did a few more, and then the rumor got out on the whole, like my whole unit and the whole post. And so people would pull me aside and they'd say, tell me about myself, tell me. And so I started doing this, and then I started getting extreme migraines and had to see the unit or the post, what is it called, not psychologist, but the neurologist. And so the neurologist looked after me, and he had to do brain scans and several things, and he was like, something was odd. And once I quit doing all of those readings, all of a sudden the migraines went away, and then he didn't have to service me anymore. So there were a lot of strange things, but let me just wrap it up with, in the Army, at the end of it, they gave me a package, and now I'm 100% disabled, but doing well, and the Army is taking good care of me, but I'm still in the care of the Army because I depend on them for my living, I depend on them for my checks, for my health care, for everything. So now they completely have monitoring me, and I think that people like me, they... have you ever heard of my lab?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I may or may not be one of them, just depending on all the strangeness. Even my mother, who's a Christian skeptic, said something strange happened to you while you were in the Army. And then I ended up with several strange scars on my head that showed surgery that I never had before. And she's like, when did you get that? And I was like, questions like that.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that the migraines, they're kind of like at a certain point as your pineal gland's basically decalcifying and expanding from being so used, because I've gone through the same stuff too. And when I was up in Ohio, living in Ohio, I was really busy doing energy work basically 5 or 6 days a week, and some days I would have like 12 hours or more, and straight like just using the pineal gland, and the power of the energy that would come through would be ever increasing, but it would make you feel like your brain was just swelling on the inside, and
like it's ready to explode almost.
Yeah, exactly. So I totally understand what you're talking about there, and that it really is. It's part of the opening up process as it goes, and what you're talking about, being able to see into other people. At some point, we're all going to be able to do that here, and that's part of also why the powers that be, the deep state, cabal, Illuminati, they're doing everything they can, and they have been, to try to keep that from happening, even though it's a losing battle on their side, because it's just inevitable.
I think X-Men, all the interest in X-Men and all these interest in superheroes are basically kind of a metaphor for people like me, maybe you, that basically in this world have these extra abilities. Now, I'm probably pretty limited compared to a lot of people. There are people out there with much more abilities. Now, I actually once, before I joined the Army, got mad at my first wife, and she had thrown everything off of a dresser that had a mirror placed on top of it, and the mirror was not attached. It should have been attached. It was one that you have the wood on the back that should have screws, but the mirror was just set up there. And I just couldn't believe that she threw everything off, and I was just like, I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden the mirror just jumped off of that, and she was standing about 2 feet from the desk, and it just hit her. And she looked at me and she yelled. She goes, "Why did you do that?" And I thought, I didn't know I did that. I didn't, and there was like, I was scared myself. I'll let you.
Well, thank you so much for your call, Keen, and sharing all that with us.
Welcome. Yeah, I'll call back later. There's a lot more UFOs, dark shadows that came to me when I was a child, over and over again. The hat figures, a neighbor when I was 5 that said he was from Venus and his friends were from Mars, and they would draw pictures. I'll call back.
Well, thanks for sharing, and do definitely call back, and we look forward to it. So namaste, brother.
Thank you. It is such a namaste. You've been such a pleasure every day to look forward to. Take care. Bye.
You too. Thank you so much, brother. And hello, caller. Who do we have with us now?
Hey, what's happening, man? It's Dave.
Hi, Dave. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad. How about yourself, brother?
Doing good. Doing good. What's on your mind?
Well, here's something I wanted to talk about. I actually have a couple of things I want to talk about. One is, I actually watched that Falcon 9 go up yesterday. I live right here by Kennedy Space Center and all that good garbage. And one of the things I watched them do yesterday, and it took me about an hour and a half after watching these guys do this shit. They were chemtrailing, and they were I actually have a video of it. If you want, I'll send you the video of it.
Sure.
And what they were doing is they had 3 747s or 737s, whatever planes they used to spray this, and they had them flying in a V-shaped pattern, going back and forth, and going a half mile north and a half mile south of this launch pad, it took a while. I'm sitting there going, I can't believe what I'm seeing. They threw down 300 lines. And as I'm watching this, let me mute this TV because this echoes me. It's driving me freaking nuts. And what they were doing was, the only thing that could dawn on me about the whole thing was that after I'm sitting there watching these guys do this for an hour and a half, 2 hours before this launch, 10 minutes before the launch, they stopped doing it. And the only thing I could think of was they were trying to use this stuff to find out what the upper altitude winds were doing. Because it's crazy the way they were spraying this. Absolutely crazy the way they were spraying it. I'll send you the video of it. I'll email you some videos of it if you want. Yeah,
definitely. Evolutionaryenergyarts at Gmail.
Okay, yeah, I'll send them to you this evening. But yeah, it was some of the craziest things I've ever seen. I'm sitting there watching it going, the only thing they could possibly be doing this for would be that. But again, we're dealing with Elon Musk. So you really don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're chemtrailing a ton. They're chemtrailing more every day, and
I know. I'm like I said, I live right here in Central Florida on the East Coast, and it's these these guys ain't been backing off a bit here. Ain't been backing off a bit. You know, and I actually just moved a little bit further up north the coast, but down south where I was at, I watched one night eight of those TR3Bs in the sky at the same time.
Wow. Oh, I'd love to have a video of that.
And then I actually watched one about 2 o'clock in the morning. It came down. I was within 150 feet of it. It came down. I think it was having problems or something. And it came down right at the tree line above my neighbor's house. And I'm sitting there looking at that going, no flipping way.
So let me ask you, how fast was it going?
It was moving about 15 miles an hour.
See, I mean, that's the thing. And so, you know, they're not supposed to be able to do that.
The sound it was making, and that's what drew me outside. I was actually sitting in my living room at the time. And the sound that it made, it almost sounded like a 747 coming down crashing, but quieter, a lot quieter. That screaming sound of a jet engine, but toned way down. And it just sounded really weird. It got me outside, and about the time I ran in to grab a camera and get outside and get some pictures of it, it was drifting away at that point. So, kind of one of those things, you gotta have a camera duct taped to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And see, that's the thing. And so, like, I've posted pictures of those.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying I posted pictures of those, and everybody will say, "Oh, it's just a B-2. It's a B-2 bomber." But a B-2 bomber can't go 15 miles an hour and stay in the air.
Nothing, and you can definitely tell they're not helicopters either from the lights they have. All aircraft have to fly red, green, and white lights.
Right.
The ones I've seen only fly white lights, and they can kill those lights at any time. The area down south where I was at, where the area I'm in, you got Harris, you got General Dynamics, you got all these military industrial complex companies down here in the area I'm at. You name it, they're here. And right down the road from where I would see these things all the time was a big Harris Corporation. Now, I don't know if that's directly involved in any of the construction of these things or not, but I mean, it's. I was just amazed at how often I saw them down there. I'm thinking about going camping down there this weekend just to see if I can still see them in the skies, and the weather's gotten a lot cooler here right now, so I'm thinking about going camping for the weekend to see if I can't catch some videos, because we've actually had clear skies here with the exception of all the chemtrailing. Mm-hmm. But kind of crazy, man. I mean, they definitely got things that we don't know about, and I'm not sure if they're trying to give us little peeks here and there to kind of, and again, I don't even know if it's not terrestrial or not. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do think that the triangular ones are ours.
I believe so too.
And I don't doubt that they are based on the B2 platform as far as the body, but I think the propulsion is completely different. And
well, see, and again, it's YouTube, so you really can't count everything that you see on YouTube. There's actually, because the one I saw, actually, it was the triangle with the orbs in the center of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about there, but I mean, I've seen several different schematics on those TR3Bs.
Right.
And the ones I saw had the white orb in the middle of them. And again, who knows? Who knows if they're ours or just some visitors coming down to see how stupid we are? Because we sure know how to make a mess of things as a human race. Yeah,
well, we're being guided by people that don't have the best intentions, and that's really
the bottom dollar is their only intention. And I had made a comment earlier about, everybody keeps talking about this lights out scenario. And, here's something to think about, in all honesty. Perfect lights out scenario for them to make things hush, hush, quiet, quiet is if these banks fail now, the stock market's plummeting, everything else, but if these banks fail now, they're too big to bail out. Before they were too big to fail. Now they're too big to bail. I mean, they really are too big to bail out. They own so much debt.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that most people don't even realize is that the Fed is not truly federal. You know?
No, it's the Fed is just as much federal as Federal Express is.
Yeah, exactly. So really, it's really when you look at it, and I've listed them in videos. These are the Illuminati banks that run everything, or
I know, and right now
cabal.
they're doing a lot of quantitative, the QT, the quantitative tightening. They're not doing quantitative easing right now. They're doing quantitative tightening. So, that's why you're seeing the stock market plummet the way it's plummeting. I'm interested to see what it does tomorrow. Today it fell 750 and bounced back up to only, 90 points. So It'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow. If it continues to fall the way it's falling. When I saw it down at 750 today, I was like, man, this could be it. I mean, it got gruesome for a little while today, but it bounced back up to just like a minus 90 or something like that, 93 or whatever it was.
Right. Well, the whole system, it's all an illusion. I mean, there's really nothing there. It's all just numbers, when you get down to it, that we're all...
Because none of it means anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all imaginary numbers that, I wish, if you or I printed money, they'd call that shit counterfeit and we'd be locked up quick.
Exactly. Yeah, the whole system is really it's a travesty and a joke. And really, what we need and what they fear the most is people stepping out of that system and making their own agreements. And
like bartering and all that.
Exactly.
I just had a talk with my sister about coins made before 1964 and earlier. Those are all. If you ever get quarters and anything like that, keep them because they're 90% silver.
Exactly, and it'll be a barter and trade situation when things fall down, and of course, when it comes back up, they'll have something they want to implement. That the way they are, it'll always be kind of a tighter and tighter noose, because that's just the way they are.
That's why they have all these underground bases and all these underground bunkers and stuff. The only thing they don't give a damn about you, me, or anybody else. The only people they're concerned on keeping safe is government, so that the government can come out of the trenches and say, okay, here we are, let's do it again. And that's the sad reality of it. They could give a rat's ass less about the population.
Exactly. That's why we have to work together and try to make those situations. People have to come together, and it's going to take a while probably to implement something, but really that would be the perfect opportunity when the grid goes down for people to basically say, hey, have these talks already, and make agreements with neighbors, and buying things locally as much as we can, and sidestepping the system.
Absolutely. Local grown is like I was just talking in the chat room. I got a local beekeeper friend down here that has bees, makes his own honey and all that. And that's something I'm back and forth on it, but I try to use honey as the only sweetener. Avoid sugars and all that. Teas and coffees, I put honey in it.
Yeah, I do the same. I never use really sugar at all, and I really don't need to add it to anything. I'm just used to tasting whatever the actual taste of it is. So
yeah, I gotta have some kind of sweetener in my coffee. That's my biggest vice. But and then another thing I was thinking about, and I don't know, I don't want to really drag politics up into this, but I don't know how a lot of the viewers feel about this QAnon guy. That was one other thing I was wanting to run by you here. And I hate the fact that, and I'm not going to say he's real or fake, but I want people to think, let me steal one of Q's lines. Think logically. What does every president have? Every president has lawyers that do damage control. That would be a pretty good indication of what the Q team is. Lawyers running damage control.
I could see it, and when the whole thing first came out, there was a certain vibe. Then after a certain point, it felt like it was becoming a big rah-rah thing, and
see, in all honesty, they're talking about impeaching Trump. And the only thing that's going to save that, if Trump is actually guilty, you know, people are saying that this Russian collusion, there wasn't really Russian collusion. It was more, hey, Russia, we need you to bail the Jews out, or Israel out, and do us a favor before we get sworn in. And yes, that's collusion, and yes, they all committed perjury because, yes, they were all asked whether or not they had any conversation with Russia prior to them being sworn in, and they lied under oath. But at the end of it, you know, it's, I don't want to say Q ain't real. I hope he is, you know. I just don't ever, it's never happened in history before where somebody from the government actually tried to do something good. And the last guy that did got caught 3 in the head.
Right.
It's just the sad reality, you know, and it's, you know, it's, you kind of look at it and try to keep your head up with, you know, not fall into the doom and gloom, but it's the end of it. Reality's outside your door. But those are just a couple points I wanted to touch on. I was actually going to start my own little YouTube thing, but I'm not the kind of guy that likes the attention. I'd rather give it to somebody else. But I'll send you those videos tonight. Like I said, I made 3 of them. You might have to mute the sound out of it because I was cussing like a freaking sailor. So
no problem. Well, I definitely look forward to those videos. Yeah,
and if I catch anything cool this weekend, because like I said, I'm probably gonna go camping either Friday night or Saturday night, maybe even both. But I'm gonna go down in that area where I was seeing all those TR3Bs. I want to see if I can catch any of them. See if they're still swarming down there like they were. Because like I said, one night I saw as many as 8 of them in the sky at one time.
That's incredible. God, I would so love to see a photo of that or a video.
Honestly, I was getting paranoid of it because what started the whole thing was one night I was sitting outside half drunk and I'm sitting there looking at one going, is that one, is that one, is that one? So I shut off all my outside lights, got my binoculars out, and I started staring at one. And it started coming like closer to my house. So I'm sitting there going, is this thing watching me? So I grabbed a laser pointer and I started playing laser tag with it. And after that, they started flying around my neighborhood a lot more.
Yeah, that's, you know, that might be a little bit dangerous there with all the dues that they have, you know.
Hey, bring it on. At least I'll call them out that way.
Well,
but, yeah, I'll send you the videos, and good talking to you, and I'll go ahead and get you off the phone so some of your other callers can get in your ear.
All right, well, thank you so much for sharing, brother.
Yes, sir, bro.
Take care.
We'll see you.
And hello, caller, you're on the air. Who do we have with us now?
Oh, it's Sassy Susie.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. I'm doing good. I just was hoping I would get in. So I gotta, my thoughts have to catch back up because I'm excited now and a little nervous. My brain emptied out though. But yeah, I wanted to call in because I found something interesting. I wanted to. Oh, I know. I gotta go to take the kids to Girl Scouts soon. So I'm really grateful that I got in. Thank you. Anyhow, can you hear me okay?
I could.
Oh, good. Okay, so I was playing with my phone and I have an iPhone and it got a upgrade recently, and these settings that I found are, maybe they were there the whole time, but I was going through my privacy settings and I found this thing about an ad, for ads, and then it had a thing where it says, well, Apple tracks your information and, we do this, and it gives an explanation as to why, and I thought that was really weird because I don't remember seeing that in my privacy settings before, so I turned that off. And then underneath the ads, there was something called, I wrote this down, there was something called, sorry, I know other people want in and stuff, analytics. So in my privacy under analytics is the data to view what has been sent to Apple. So Apple's basically telling you that they're viewing your data, and then they use it for whatever reason. And I turned that one off, and there was another one below that to show all the places that they've been seen, and that has been already sent to Apple. And it was like, I don't know, I was scrolling down and down, and there was like hundreds that Apple had already gotten. So I don't remember these settings before, and I kind of wanted to bring it to light for everyone. You know, if you're playing around with your phone and if you see something that says privacy, might be a trick.
Right.
Yeah, and then I noticed when they have like a disclaimer and then an excuse underneath the disclaimer, or a reason why they're doing this, that's always something to me that's, they're asking permission without asking. So I turned off as much as I could to, except for just keeping my Wi-Fi, but I just thought that was crazy. I didn't know if anyone else had seen that. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about is our high emotional energies, and I've been getting so sensitive lately. And the good news is I'm learning new ways to cope with my emotions. But it seems like everything has been coming to a head lately. Like everything in my life that needs attention. I'm getting put in a spot where I absolutely have to address it. And it's smoking. I quit smoking. That's a really good example, because I smoked since I was 13. So that's like a really long time. So that's like 30 years or something. And I didn't think I would ever be one to quit smoking. But then I got an opportunity and a catalyst to quit, and I did it, and I'm actually super happy. I can, like 6 days now. 6 days.
That's awesome. And you're going to make it, and you're not going to go back.
Yes, I am. And I am using the nicotine patch, so I know I'm kind of trading chemicals for chemicals. But I can breathe. I can take a deep inhale. My mind is clearer, which is really important, because I have to do this work with myself. It's like, I just needed my mind clearer, and to get these things done and move forward. I wasn't going anywhere, and I quit smoking, and now I can, and I'm still a little bit nervous. That's why I just am sorry.
Well, I'm so glad you did quit smoking. And as to the phones, I think we should assume that they're looking at every photo we ever take. They're listening to every word we ever speak, because so much of the time now, either me or somebody that I'm with, we'll be talking about something like, hey, we need to go to Lowe's, and then you go hit Google to do a search, and there's directions to Lowe's, So it's at a totally different level now. They're listening to everything we say, and they're going through, all of your phones. Everything is monitored completely. Completely.
Yeah, it was really creepy, because most of my apps were wanting my location, and then they would send this it said down there, well, we send this information to Apple to make your experience a better one. And I just felt really invaded when I was going through my privacy settings. I just never noticed that before, so I don't know if it's just a step up from what they were doing before.
Most definitely. And so, we could look at it like, well, all they want to do is basically, sell us more stuff. So they want to know what we're going to buy. They want to know what's on our mind. They want to be able to, get the right ads to pop up, algorithmically and all that. But in reality, when you get down to the deepest levels of it, the money system is nothing but an illusion. So really, this is all about control. This is truly just about control and knowing what we are thinking, knowing who potentially is going to be divisive, or who potentially is, going to be a thorn in the side, et cetera, et cetera. So it's part of the bigger picture, because when you get down to it, the banks and all, this whole system is a complete illusion that we've all just bought into. And so it's not even so much about them controlling that, because they could always just add a zero wherever they need to add a zero. It's more about controlling us and knowing each one of us, the inside out, what we are thinking.
Yeah, and it's like this, where you can only have so much money, so whoever the powers that be that collect all this money, and then they have enough of that, then goes beyond money, way beyond money. It just goes into total control, and our phones are like a bridge for that control, and that's kind of how I see it. And while I have you here, I just hopefully if both of us don't get busy, because you and I are funny, like, and I make the time to talk to you or do a appointment, and we both forget, like,
Right.
It's like, I'm so sorry, I forgot, or I have but my migraines, and I had those since, and I don't know how you do it. I don't quite understand the quantumness of how you do what you do, but my migraines are still gone, and the first time you did a session on me, it was for anxiety and probably other things, and my migraines ended up leaving, and now, I was going to ask you, when you do healings, because I have this a small tumor in my ear, and it's like the third time it's grown back. I've had it removed twice. So it seems like when you do energy work on me, it's not so, it's like my life turns in a direction where I make better choices. I make smarter choices. It's not like you directly address that, because when you go to a doctor, they usually give you a pill or a Band-Aid. And when you work on someone in the energy, I don't know, things just sort of fall into place, and it's just, things work better. And my question to you is, when you heal people, because I'm thinking about doing what you do in a future time, I would be terrified, like, if someone says, hey, I have a tumor, can you heal it? And don't you get afraid of that? I was just curious.
Well, you trust, and and so it's a thing where, as you work with energy and work with people more and more, you recognize that there's powers on the other side that are dying to help us. And whether we call them angels or whatever you want to call them, but there are benevolent beings out there that are just dying to help us. But it's a free will universe, so we have to actually ask, and that's part of prayer, and that's also part of mantras and affirmations and all that. So when I'm working on somebody, like, especially if it's like a tumor situation, it's just going through my mind that it's already healed, and you're giving thanks for it. So if there's a great video, and I've put it in a couple of videos of my own, and it's of a clinic, a QiGong clinic in China, where there's 3 medical QiGong doctors all working on a lady with stage 4 bladder cancer that the Western doctors told her, sorry, there's nothing we could do, you're going to be basically dead in 3 months. And you watch as they keep saying Hamsa, which means already gone. So they're just chanting Hamsa, 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 with that intention that it's not even there anymore. And you just see this, you're watching it live time, as they're doing it, and you see it just start to almost blink in and out of existence, and then the tumor's gone. It's just gone. And so it just shows that we live in a world that's really all energy. And so, energy gets blocked and stuck in certain patterns that can be, affecting us negatively. So it's a matter of basically eliminating that pattern and getting things to flow again in the way that they're supposed to. So, I love being hands-on to where I could feel it. And I've had a lot of cases with people with, well, I had one lady with a thyroid tumor, It was huge, and just feeling it just kind of get soft and mushy, as when at first it was very hard and firm, and then it's getting soft and mushy under your fingers, and then it's just kind of deflating as you're working. It's an amazing thing to feel, and it's so empowering to know that we can do this. People can do this. It's just a matter of knowing and believing, and also worked on people with basically fatty tumors and cysts that were very painful, and they've gone, as well as had people that actually had slipped discs, and just basically sending the energy into the disc, it would go back into place and basically realign itself. And that's the medicine of the future. And what it does too is, like, we are really correcting actual imbalances, because everything, for the most part, all disease is dis-ease, so it's basically, it's inhibiting its emotions a lot of the times that are inhibiting the proper flow of energy, and then it ends up causing either too much energy or too little in an area, which will give us different types of disease. And so, according to Chinese medicine, it's all basically, it all starts as emotions, for the most part, and manifest in. So what happens is you're actually addressing, there's many different layers to the body. There's the physical body, there's the etheric layer, then there's many different more subtle layers, including emotional and various spiritual bodies. And so you're actually kind of getting to the root cause. And so emotionally, we feel better as well, because the stagnant, blocked emotions that are the cause of the disease in the first place end up getting just basically, flushed out of the way. And we go into a more harmonious pattern.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and it makes so much sense in my case, because when it's probably gone on, I don't know, maybe 20 years, and I have this really nice case of PTSD from a very extremely narcissistic, psychotic marriage, and in this relationship, there was like broken bones and stuff involved. It was nasty. I can honestly look back and say these things now, and I believe, and then, I've had a lot of medical problems since then, whereas before I was super healthy. So carrying all this bad energy for this many years really seriously did a lot of damage physically,
It does.
And yeah, and with the energy work, not only does it help, like, makes my energy move, and it flushes out, and it's really awesome. I call it emotional alchemy. Because I've been able to straighten out so many bad ways of thinking that I used to have, and it just helps tremendously to be able to take my emotions and my triggers. Right now I'm working on my triggers, and trying to reset those buttons, because it's like a reset type of thing. And I take a trigger, like, if, for example, if I feel or sense there's going to be a disagreement with someone, just that sense, it doesn't even have to happen, that's a trigger right now. And I don't know how many people have heard of Teal Swan, and if you have, she's been in the spotlight, good and bad. But as far as dealing with your emotions goes, she has a lot of good information on how to reset your emotions and work with your emotions and sort of recalibrate everything. And that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm taking these triggers where I'm afraid there might be a disagreement, and she walks you through, like, how to reset everything, and then you do that X amount of times, and that's how I'm rewiring my brain. And with you helping me, because I'll be able to do this on my own, and then when I'm on my own, watch out, because I'm gonna like help the world, because I know I went through my experience. I didn't go through it in vain. I totally didn't. And I really plan on helping. I guess my focus is women, primarily women, but I know men go through these things too. They get the emotional crap beat out of them. And then, like, if you don't fix it, then it just goes on to the family, children, grandchildren, and it keeps happening. So there's got to be a stopping point, and that's my goal. Oh, and I want to open an animal rescue, because I love animals. I just work with kids and animals right now. It's my favorite.
They're great. They're both just so loving, and it's a wonderful thing to be around animals. That's why we're always
it's unconditional.
Exactly. You touched on so many good things there. I appreciate everything that you touched on, and we will definitely get together tomorrow and have a session.
Awesomeness. Okay, cool. So I'll talk to you guys later. I wish you all love and light, and namaste to everyone, and thanks for doing all this, Michael. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, and I'm so glad you're part of this family, because you're deeply, deeply loved.
Aw, thank you. I feel deeply loved. That's the difference. I really feel deeply loved. Thank you, you guys.
Namaste.
Okay, namaste.
And so that was our own Sassy Susie. And hello, caller, you're on the air.
Oh my goodness, I got through.
You did. Who do we have with us?
Gracie.
Hi, Gracie. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I was kind of inspired by your caller with her PTSD, and I have that also. And I have done a lot of research on this masculine and feminine thing. So I thought this might be a good time to kind of bring it up.
Yes, definitely. Share with us.
Yeah, and to have a conversation with you too, Michael, because you're a man who has developed his feminine.
And I will say thank you. I will say thank you for that.
Yes, and we need that so much. I know I came here this time around to help work. I hope my phone's working tonight too. It cuts out. Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Anyway, I do know. I was told as a child, and I would say a heightened awareness dream by three very tall beings, that I was coming in this time to help with some things that had been coming down my family for a very long time. And I had done that. And they also said I would be the last and I would end it. And I'm trying to live true to that. I mean, it's one of the reasons I came here. And what I have discovered, this domestic violence, it happens way too often. There's probably a lot of people walking around with PTSD.
I agree, totally, and I've seen it in my own practice many times.
And usually it is women. It usually is. Our species is really quite different from other species on this planet. The female is smaller, and for an abusive individual, it can really make her a target. So, and I really, everyone talks about what's going on in the world now. Well, what's going on in the world now happens in the home first. These people grow up and they get into power. and we wonder why the world is in the state that it's in.
Yeah, very true.
Does that make any sense?
Oh, totally. And, you see patterns too. So, just to share, like I've had a lot of people that have been in abusive relationships where they can't speak up, and they'll have thyroid issues because they're closing up their throat chakra, which is in turn inhibiting the energy flow into the thyroid organ, and then you end up with all sorts of issues with the thyroid, hypothyroidism, goiters, Hashimoto's, all those type of issues. And it all comes from not being able to speak your piece, and not being able to say what you need to say, because it's an energetic flow. And that's a very, it's a situation I've seen so many times.
Yes, and honoring our emotions. The emotions are not honored at all, and that's they do get stuck somewhere in the body. Yeah, I think. Do you see people with breathing problems too?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I actually did. God, I finally had to go to therapy myself. I've been on spiritual paths for over 30 years, but I finally had to have the humility to go in and have someone help me. And I think it was part of having the blinders taken off in this lifetime. I think I did come to help, and the only way you can really help is to experience it. And I came from my mother. And she was severely abused. To help other people, sometimes you have to reveal a little bit about yourself, which is kind of difficult. But I came for her too. So I think this is a problem that we're really having in our environment and in our economy and in psychopaths wanting to kill all of us. Is we have had not the divine masculine in power for thousands of years, but the masculine. And, we have talk of the divine feminine coming back. Well, we have become so left hemisphere in our brains that I'm surprised we don't have lopsided heads. That we have forgotten the feminine side of the brain, the right side, and it's starting to come back up. It's not so much that we need the feminine in power or the masculine in power. We need both.
Yeah, we need balance and harmony, and it starts with compassion and understanding. And if one could feel compassion for the other, one really won't lash out, because they'll understand. Compassion breeds understanding. And so, and you're right, because sometimes when there's that imbalance of the masculine energy, almost it's maybe perhaps they're feeling that they can't allow themselves to feel, and emote the other person.
And they're raised that way.
Yes.
They're raised that way. Girls, many times when they're being raised, they're corrected in their behavior many times. A lot of times, the boys aren't. They're literally raised to have low empathy and no compassion. And we wonder what's wrong with the world.
Exactly.
So, when I was in therapy, my therapist, she was a very wise woman. I would suspect, she's probably been a wise woman in other lifetimes. She said, we've got to raise our sons differently. And I, honest to God, could not understand what she was talking about until recently. And it is true. We really, if we want to evolve, I feel, on this planet and really become a star-faring people, the masculine must come into balance and develop the feminine. And this aggressive, brute, bully type stuff that's going on, it's got to go away. I think we're stuck on this planet. And I think maybe that's what we're working on these days. It's just that. Helping the masculine. If the male doesn't come into balance on this planet, because he is bigger, he's more powerful, he can be might makes right if he wants to. But the divine masculine is a protector, and a beautiful being. He's what puts things into action. And we have these qualities inside of us. But I think it's true. We need to raise our sons differently. So much domestic violence, it's almost pathetic.
Well, it's been cultivated too, by society at large and by those in charge, to basically keep creating the imbalances and the disharmonies between us, because if we could actually get past all that, they'll start to lose their grip and control on us.
Yes, that is correct. That we just have these people whom we probably never see. And that's another thing. It is coming. These are patterns that are coming down the generation. I asked once, how far did it go in my family? Because this was told to me in a dream. And quite frankly, it goes all the way back to Sumer. Mm-hmm. Somewhere along the time, that's when this masculine came, this negativity really, I think, took hold. Maybe even before then. And these are individuals we never see.
Yeah, and they've wiped out our true history too, which is, when we look at it, especially like if I think back to when I was a kid, and history just began basically 5,000-6,000 years ago, as a kid, in that time frame, so far off from the truth. When we look at all these amazing artifacts that are buried in strata of rock that say that we've been around for much, much longer than that, intelligent life has, yeah. And so they've wiped us clean. They've wiped our memory clean of who we really are and how we really are supposed to be.
Yeah, but I think that the energy today, and people are waking up, that I don't think they're going to be able to keep a handle on it. Mm-mm. And and we've been further along than we are today, and I think you're correct. The monarchs, think about the times when we had kings and queens and emperors and all this stuff, which really was not that long ago. Think how they influenced their serfs. Exactly.
It's true, and our society is not even really that far off from that, because we still have it, just the titles have changed, but we still have that whole situation still really ongoing. But as you said, the times are changing as far as the energies are changing, and also, knowledge is spreading. So, the internet and the computer age have been a double-edged sword for the controllers, because, as they are trying to clamp down with listening to every word we speak and reading every text, monitoring everything, at the same time, we are, putting the pieces together, and we're also connecting to one another. And so that's powerful.
Yeah, thank God for the internet, and hopefully it will keep going here and not go down too, because then we'll have to rely again on the internet, and that might be a little bit harder as far as a lot of people waking up. Yeah, I wanted to share that tonight, especially I was inspired by your previous caller. It is a huge problem for us, and you know what? Yes, the divine feminine needs to come up. I will tell you, we need our divine masculine, because if we don't have it won't work. So I'm always really grateful when there's men out there who really have developed their feminine, who are empathetic, who are compassionate, who are protective. We really need that. That is something that is greatly missing, and it's something that we need both. We absolutely need both. There are so many women, and we're scared of men.
Well, that's
we
not
are
a
so
good.
Scared.
That's not a good, not a good thing, and it's not the way things are supposed to be. But I think we're going to change it, and I think it's in the process now, as we're seeing. The old system is starting to collapse around us, and that's why they're scrambling and trying to hang on to their version of reality, but it's inevitable. So I know we're going to come to a state of balance and harmony again as we come out of these times.
I think so, and I think it's starting now. And even though there may be some chaos, as long as we're all taking care of each other, I don't think it's going to be that bad. If we take care of each other, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I think it's the 100th monkey syndrome again. So it's a matter of getting enough people to wake up, so we can mitigate. Yeah. We could still allow whatever Mother Earth needs to purge and get out of her system, but we have to still kind of flush away the whole old system, but again, it's maintaining our own positive vision. And I think reality could be very different for each individual, as well, as we all have our own kind of individual reality going on besides the collective.
I do too. You talk about healing people with energy. Well, I think we can change our reality that way too, in a massive way, with enough people waking up.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much for the call, Gracie. We have a couple other ones calling in, and thank you for calling and sharing.
All right, thank you. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who do we have with us now?
Hey, Michael. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Hey, I've been wanting to call you since back in June or July of this year. I've listened to your program. I work off grid, and so I get to listen to your program sometime during the evenings. And I just want to say thanks for that. I've been listening to a lot of callers here recently talking about waking up, and I'd like to suggest that humanity's been waking up since the day we were born. It's just a series of degrees. And as we continue to evolve, the mature mind is able to put together all of this that we've experienced. And I'd like to also suggest that experience is the true teacher. Everybody else either repeats or instructs. So experience is our teacher. And what we should do is share our experiences with one another and put our heads together, put our minds together and our hearts together, and we come up with a clearer picture of who we truly are and what we are here for. So that's my 2 cents, brother. And keep up the good work and the God work. And and I just want to say I love everybody. And don't worry, it gets better from here, okay? A lot of people have fear out there. They're afraid that, Big Brother's watching us. Well, they truly are watching us, but not for what you like to think. They're watching us because they want to see how far we've come, how far we've evolved. It was never their intent to govern over us and tell us what to do. We've been needing this. We've been needing to be governed. We've been needing to be told what to do because we haven't taken the reins of manhood up on our shoulders. And as we evolve, as we mature, we start to realize what our responsibility are as man and woman, not as men and women. Men and women are the lower forms, and man and woman are the evolved, mature-minded. And that's the one that the previous caller was talking about divine masculinity. As we're children, the male and female, the male is more focused and the female is more, look at all the beautiful, look at life, how beautiful it is. And then as the male matures, gets a little older, he starts looking at all the beauty in the world and loses his focus, and the female starts to get the focus and get more focused. So we're reversing roles. And the idea is, as we mature, is to take that reversal and master it, and master ourselves. The idea is about being better than we were the day before, Michael. It's about mastering self, where we don't have to be told what to do. We know instinctually what to do and how to be. And so I just want to say I love you. We're all one big family. It's not about colors, because colors don't make brothers. So anyway, Michael, I love you guys very much. Thanks for all you do, brother. And Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you, brother, and thank you for sharing. And yeah, it's true. I mean, we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all one ultimately, and we just have to realize that, and we have to, as you said, take the reins and take control and start to manifest that which we truly want to see, which will be a much more positive, world in a totally new era.
And for all the people, and not to interrupt the train of thought, but to add to, for all the people out there who are afraid of what the government's doing and what everybody's doing, listen, people, listen. If they wanted you dead, you would already be dead, okay? They control the waters that you drink, the air that you breathe, everything. They don't want you dead. They want you to wake up. They want you to rise to your higher being, the higher self. And we do that when we start putting away our fears and start laying down your bad habits, because those things cloud your mind. You're not able to comprehend what's in front of you. It's about perception. And if your perception is clouded because of poor choices you've been making, and repetitive poor choices like smoking and drinking and anything that causes your mind to be warped, that causes your mind to be distorted, it's going to undermine your being. Michael, I'm certain that you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm certain that you're fully aware of everything I'm saying to you. Those who have progressed, we call it progress, we call it mature, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. It's like a Christ-conscious being. That's who the mature-minded are. That's the male and female, the higher form of being. We are Christ-conscious. It's not about one man or one woman. It's about all being. It's about every one of us are Christ. We are all Christ. Christ dwells within. Lay aside your doctrines. Lay aside your Bibles. Lay aside your Qurans. Lay aside all of those things, because that's all perception, somebody's perception. We have our own truth within us. And if you would lay aside all the outside sources and start looking at inside, and then start sharing what you realize, start sharing your insights with people around you, you will discover so much more than what we've been told. As I was growing up as a kid, my grandfather used to tell me, he said, "Hoss, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear." And I would take that one step further. I would say believe nothing. Believe nothing. Don't believe anything you see and don't believe anything you hear. It's about knowing. It's a knowing. When we know who we are, we rise to our higher self. And that's how we complement life. That's how we complement those who passed before us, who paid sacrifices for us to be where we are. When we rise to our higher calling, we glorify God, or the Creator, whatever, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. We are all, we are the body of God. We are the body of Christ. It's not about a church. The church is not a building. It's the temple, and we are the temples, each and every one of us. And if we would just either unite all of these religions or lay them all aside. This is the year 2018. We're going into 2019. There's no more time for beliefs. We need to lay our beliefs aside until we can verify them. If you can't verify what you believe, then why are you believing it? Why are you putting your energy towards it? There's a lot of ways to verify things, and it's not blasphemy. It's truth. And if I wanted to control everybody, I would write a book, and I would tell everybody, anybody who talks about against this book, don't believe them because they're the bad guy. You understand what I'm saying? You know exactly what I'm saying. So lay aside the books, because something was written on your soul a long time ago. And when you start looking inside, you're going to discover what was written there by a hand that cannot be manipulated by men. So, Michael, if you have any questions for me before I hang up, one final thing about the word namaste. I want you to reverse that word, Namaste, and you'll realize it spells E-T's a man. E-T's a man. God is man. There's a whole lot of things out there hidden in plain sight, and let him who has eyes see, and him who has eyes to hear, and not just him, but her as well. Because we can't do this without the him and her together, So anyway, brother, you inspired a whole lot of talk, and I've got a lot more to say, but I know there's other people who'd like to get their 2 cents in as well. So, you have anything else for me before I hang up?
Well, I don't think we got your name in the beginning.
You can call me Al or Alan or brother or whatever. It's all the same. You know this.
Well, it was a pleasure, and that's a lot for people to swallow. But I agree with you. We have to get past all of that, and the only way to do it is by going within and knowing. And there's like you said, I thought you said it so eloquently. There's a huge difference between believing and knowing, and when you really, really know, it just changes everything. It changes everything, and you can't even really put it into words. You just simply have to experience it. And so, that takes us to the word gnosis, and the Gnostics. It's all about knowing. It's not really about belief. It's knowing, and each has to come to that point for themselves in their own time. It's the old, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
That was one of my issues when I first started being aware of waking up. See, that's what I think. I think we become aware of waking up, but I think we're waking up from the day we're born, Michael. As we continue to learn what men have to teach us, then we have to unlearn it, and then we have to relearn what God has to teach us, you know. And as I said, God being the conscious, you know, the higher form. So yeah, there's a whole lot out there to discover. And like I said, people, and I'm talking to the, you know, all the family. Realize that, you know, it's not what you think. I mean, there's a whole lot of things going on there. Maybe they're doing things to scare you because they're trying to shake some sense into you. They're trying to shake you awake and say, hey, you know, it's 2018. Why are you still doing the things you're doing? Why are you still fighting? Why are you still gambling? Why are you still killing? Why are you still stealing? Why are you still doing those things? Put those childish things aside. We've got work to do, and we can't do that if you're out there playing like a little child. When you hit a certain age, around 35, 40-ish, you know, put aside your childish ways and man up, woman up, you know. So like I said, man, I don't belong to any religion, but I'm about as far from religion as anyone can be. That doesn't mean I wasn't taught, you know, religious things when I was growing up. I grew up Southern Baptist and went to different denominations, and all the way through, I realized, you know, there's more to it than this, and it, you know, and I had to look inside to discover that. And then as I looked inside and I searched for truth, I discovered myself. And that's what I encourage everybody to do out there, you know. Look for truth, and you're going to discover there's many forms of truth, you know. So anyway, Michael, I love you, and I wish you the best, and be well and be strong, and carry on, brother.
Thank you, Brother Al. And I hope you will call and share again.
I will, if the Spirit compels me to, I will, brother. I will.
Well, thank you so much, brother. Namaste, and God bless, my friend.
Take care.
Take care. And hello, brother.
Hello, brother. How you doing today, this evening?
Doing good, doing good. Did you catch that last call?
Yes. This is phenomenal. It's like, it comes out to be perfect to the way what I have in mind, but let's see if you have any questions or something. But yeah, that's pretty amazing. Why did you ask me that question?
Oh, just because I was smiling with the last call and thinking, just thinking, you know, how easy it was for him to say all those things, and you know, it really is, and we've talked about this. You know, we've talked about the knowing as opposed to the believing or thinking. You know, it's such a difference between that heart-centered soul knowing and just knowledge that comes into the left brain, you know, that's in some cases nothing but just simple programming, you know, conditioning. And, you know, it's night and day with knowing, true gnosis with a G. Right, brother?
Yes, exactly. And that's why we shouldn't be afraid of the big G or the little g. Forget about any labels, period. And forget about duality. Okay, if anything, think binary. It's still double, but at least it's not dual. You're not dueling against the other. So erase that duality. Everybody listening right now, yes, you're in the fifth dimension. There is no going back. And if you don't do the work, and I don't mean just opening up, reading a book, no, connecting with another as you are in a sense doing now. But that's the true magic that you need to work on, because from there you will be inspired by your higher self to the person that is supposedly expanding your mind. How they're expanding your mind is because it's your higher self, people, telepathically communicating with them. So the next time you meet somebody, and you, in a sense, kind of like fall in love with them, not like, you know, sexually and stuff like that, but it's like, wow, like every word this person says is like, it's strumming my guitar, my inner guitar, just properly. This is weird. It's because it's your higher self. It's because you finally asked for it with your heart, not with your lower ego that hasn't been ready. Why? Because you haven't even cleaned the microbiome. Like I was telling, what was her name? I forgot. Sweet C. She mentioned the coffee enema, and I was like, oh man, I hope she doesn't take it the wrong way. That would be so blunt that I'm actually doing right now. I'm doing one right now. And that was way earlier. But the thing is I was taking care of my temple. I was doing the coffee enema. As soon as I was done with the coffee enema, I drank apple cider and vinegar. Okay, waited about 15 minutes or so. Notice how these are the numbers you need to be worried about. The ones that are connected to the internal. And then after 15 minutes after that, I ate, get this, guys, okay? Greek yogurt is nasty, but it's good for you, man. This is how you replace protein and all these other things that slow you down. Oh, by the way, did you hear, I think it was you, Michael, that did an article about that they made a study that now they're going to have a pill that you can take and you can eat all you want and you'll never gain weight? And the sad thing about it is that I can see how that can be true, but why will that even come to being? What sense does that make? That they're trying to stuff you guys once more. Like people were stating, the sugars, the bad sugars. Don't be afraid of sugars. Be afraid of artificial sugars. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Yeah, and you know, we've talked about at length before that as we go further through this process, we won't even really need to eat. Well, we won't actually even need to eat, period, probably, at some point. And, you know, we've talked about, like, I know I brought up in the past, like, yogis that have been monitored, and they haven't eaten for, like, 40 days, and, you know, in a clinical setting, and they're fine. And now, with the energy changing, it's just going to be easier. So think about it, if you want to look at it in a biblical sense, when Christ came back in his ascended body, you know, he could eat and drink if he wanted to, but he didn't really have to. And so, you know, we're starting to realize how things work. And, you know, it's really, we could take in everything we need through the life force that's around us at all times. And, you know, I shared with you earlier today, because we were talking earlier, that I hadn't eaten yet. And so today, really, all I had was one bowl of lentils. And that feels like plenty. You know, there's just not even really the need for anything, but, you know, I'll probably have a little something maybe later because I simply choose to. But it's all about, our temple does affect where we are emotionally and spiritually. There's no way around that. And I remember first studying Raja Yoga, which is royal yoga, and it basically said that, you know, you couldn't really have full clarity spiritually and mentally if you were lacking physically. So you got to heal the temple first, and everything will kind of fall into place.
Yes, definitely, and that's the thing where we shouldn't be afraid of programming, because programming is just like temperature. Temperature, there is no hot, there is no cold. There's only a variance of interpretation. To Michael, it could be colder. What colder is to me would be like warm to him. But yeah, the reason why you are okay with eating so little is because of your elevation, and Mama Earth is right there, all right, feeding us. The great Jesus of Nazareth, right, from the Essenes, that's what they were teaching us, people, that we are built to utilize the elements. Not the elements, yeah, the elements as well, but yeah, the elements. So in other words, earth, wind, fire, earth, wind, fire. I can't even think straight right now. But anyways, that's what they were showing us, that you can get nutrients from the air. You can get detoxification from fire. It doesn't mean put your finger on fire. No, there's other ways, because fire means passion. Fire means other things, metaphorically. And with that in mind, you guys got to understand, we are all warriors. The bad ones are afraid of warriors. Why? Because warriors live gloriously. Let's be technical here, okay? And any ancient culture, whether you like it or not, whether you like them or not, didn't all warriors had the best homes, everything they needed, because they were respected, because they did a good deed or whatever for the country? Yes or no? Yes. So therefore, they made warriors look very bad in this in the 3D reality we left. But the thing is that everything shifted over to 5D with us. And if you don't shift your inside, you have 3D here with us. So guess what? You are being the negative God, almost technically, just by spreading negative thoughts. So, you know, you got to convert. If you have to share, and I'm not even referring to Michael here, but if any of you need to share what may seem negative news to someone else, you have to have it in your mind to rebuttal yourself as well, to always finish off with a gospel gospel. That doesn't mean open your Bible and give them a passage. No, a gospel just means the good news. Just say, hey, this is what I heard. I hope you know about this, so maybe you can prepare. I know you think I'm crazy and this and that, but check this out. I mean, maybe this will give you and your family an opportunity to get closer doing something that will help all of you expand, and then your community will respect you, and you're the ones that are ready for everything. Magic. We are creators. So with this in mind, can you go to my Facebook page? I want to show something that Paulo Coelho, I believe it was who wrote it, about how we are all warriors. And while he's going to that, I'll be speaking about why we are all warriors. From the beginning, from before even birth, from conception, from our dad's thought when he looked at our mother's eyes. You were already fighting to go down to that tunnel. You know what I'm talking about, which tunnel. Not only that, once you were inside your mom's, you know what, you were still fighting. Technically, let's be technical here, people. Stop taking things personal. Okay, so that goes to show you when you're inside and did you guys know this? When you're inside the egg, as soon as you go inside the egg and it seals, guess what happens? And this is a scientific and medical proven fact. There is an actual literal spark of light when you seal the deal. Seriously. Okay, so we are all warriors, people, from the beginning. We're always fighting to go towards what? Towards the light. Technically. Listen to my words, people. My name truly is Jesus. I'm not kidding. Okay, but what I'm trying to get at is that if you think about it, we were fighting to go towards the light, weren't we? To go outside our mom's womb, right? Technically, people. So I don't know. I have very low connectivity, so I don't know if you were able to show that warrior's explanation of what a warrior is according to Paulo Coelho from the book Warrior of the Light, I believe it is. Were you able to show that or no? Because I can't see the screen, so.
I'm on your front page. Let's see, where is it?
The cover, the main one, the one behind my.
Oh yeah, right.
Picture.
Definitely.
Yeah, so click.
Yep.
So click on that, and then that way people can read it. I don't know if you have been reading it or not, like meaning if the screen was on or not, because I can't see. I have low connectivity where I live, and so I have a huge delay, so I can't tell.
I do have it up.
Okay, so with that in mind, people, please read that as you hear this monkey over here talking. All right, but that's what you guys need to embrace now. You need to embody that. That is your higher self talking to you. Okay, this is true telepathic communication. Whenever you get a negative thought, whenever you get a positive thought, it's not yours, people, especially if your biorhythms don't reflect that. It's not yours. It's your time to, I'm being activated to heal someone. Let's see who I need to heal. And no, not Kill, Heal. Heal. So, do you mind if we close off with? I timed it. It's technically 16 minutes, brother. I don't know, but it will activate everyone. It will pump you up. It will. It's technically designed to self-explore your inner core, meaning all 7 chakras, and it will activate them, and you will have an idea of how to use each one. When you touch it, you activate it, and when you have what therefore in mind, and you intend to do it, just like the Care Bears, people, it will come out of your freaking solar plexus and share it to the world. It really does work that way. It's weird, but it really does.
Can we? Can you send it to me so I could do that? Because we've had so many people that I've seen call through that haven't got through yet.
Yeah, most definitely. I think I already sent it already, the link.
Oh, okay.
It came over, so it was actually blocked at one point. But I recommend you guys listen to that. Even tonight, just play it. Just, I don't know, close your eyes and ask yourself or God or whatever you want, is this for me right now? Is this really going to bring me clarity? And if you feel okay in your stomach, you feel some kind of ease, you don't feel like, you want to go throw up, guess what? Just play it and go to sleep. I swear to you, it will help you go to sleep. But when you wake up, you're going to wake up a whole different person. Because of the way everything is sound engineered, everything. Okay? And my voice, monotone voice, is supposed to be that way. Because it lullabies you into theta state of mind. Please look into what theta state of mind does to a human body, especially an adult, to your temple. So anything else, brother? I mean, I do want to pass the mic and all.
No, I mean that's very important stuff, and it really is. It's what we need to do now is a lot of self-work, and we were talking about this earlier as well. So it's really, it's time for us to go within and to do that inner work. But you need to also obviously take care of the outer temple as well.
Yes, can I close off with like a minute or so? I want you guys to try and exercise, especially you who are complaining of migraines. Just try this real quick. It's only going to last about a minute.
Sure, go right ahead.
What's that?
Go right ahead, brother.
Okay, so what I want you guys to do is clasp your hands together, okay, like you're braiding your hands. You know what I'm talking about? Like almost like you're praying, okay? But not the ones where your hands are extended out, but the ones where you're embracing your a loved one, like that type of. But you're about to pray to God or something like that, right? So what you want to do now is you want to actually put your knuckles, the actual knuckle parts, put them together as best as you can. Just slowly go there, okay? Try to breathe a little bit deeper, a little bit more conscious. Now, little by little, squeeze those joints. You don't even have to go hard. If you go harder and you feel a little bit of discomfort, okay, ease off and just stay in that discomfort. You'll notice that little by little, that discomfort will go away and you'll start to feel nice, oozy, relaxed, feeling in different parts. It might be from your forearms going to your elbows and then up to your neck. Now you can kind of slide them down towards the webbing, meaning making it a tighter clasp. Okay, little by little, you're massaging your energetic being. So now you clasp them together. Now you're literally creating a bridge between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. This is why they make us do this in prayer. They don't know this, but that's what happens. And when you close your eyes, your pineal gland activates. And thus, I'll finish with that. Try experimenting with that a little more, and you'll see that it will help you. One thing that will help a lot to detoxify the pineal gland is something as simple as chlorophyll for one, but definitely cilantro. Eat cilantro in every way, shape, or form that you can. And cilantro will detoxify the pineal gland the quickest, best way possible. And it's green, meaning it will help you detoxify. Chlorophyll is in cilantro. So anyhow, have a great night, everybody. Hopefully you heard something of relevance and uplifting, not just from me, but from anywhere else. And have a good night, guys. You're only limited to your creativity. Love you, Michael.
Love you too, brother. Thank you for sharing, as always.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Namaste. And so that was Nitsaya, who is a regular. And cilantro too is a heavy metal detoxifier as well. So there's a lot of benefit to that. And we need to be doing that on a regular basis, and because our body is going through this whole process, and sometimes you're going to need a little bit extra help, and that would be a good thing to do. And just to mention again, I've mentioned it, I think, on the last time on the call, anything that says restricted or the caller is blocking, their name from being seen, I won't answer, because too much of the time it's basically, somebody with just being a prankster. And there's so many people that are trying to call through all the time, especially when it seems like we have somebody fresh on the call. But we do have an open line right now. We probably get 1 or 2 more calls in. If anybody wants to give a call in, I know there's a couple that we didn't get to, and here's one of them. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Who do we have with us now?
It's Shannon Ann. Hey, Michael.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, doing real good tonight. So,
Good.
how are things that way?
Far.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah, they've been really good. Things, they're coming along. Like I said the other day, I'm doing a lot of inside stuff, which is just diving deep inside of me and trying to figure out what's going on. And I think I talked to Lisa enough, she conveyed to you that, my plans have changed just because of this winter. I want to come and get out of here and move into the RV, but it's just this winter's going to be bad, and I'm just not ready for it.
Right.
I think everybody is that way. But I wanted to touch base. The first 2 callers were talking about, I guess, empaths, and I got the last bit of the first caller, and then the second caller got in touch, I heard. But for me, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but I don't know if anybody else, any other empaths are like this, but they attract narcissists. Do you know much about that? Or
The empaths attract narcissists. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've run into that personally.
yeah,
I mean,
what is
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think everything is unique, and an empath well, let me just take a step back. But a lot of times we will unconsciously be giving off a certain energy that will attract certain people into our life, and a lot of times, there's life lessons that we have not learned yet, and so until we learn them, we'll keep drawing the same type of person in until we recognize what we need to learn from that situation. The light bulb, will go on, and it'll be that aha moment. I got this, and then all of a sudden, it changes dramatically.
Yes, and that's kind of exactly what you're saying. It's happened to me, and I finally recognized that has. But diving into this, I've done a lot of research with narcissists and empaths, and the reason why that narcissists are attracted to the empaths is because of the fact that the empaths show so much emotion, and they can convey all the emotions where the narcissist hides behind that, and they don't show emotion. And so they feed off of the empath because of the fact that they're incapable of doing it, and so it gives them somewhat power. And then they work, I hate to say the word magic, but they work their energy into this person and then becomes controlling of the empath. So it's a very interesting, it's called the empath and narcissist dance. It's a weird one, but it's actually very, very studied on, and it's just, I look at it as I've learned my lesson, hopefully finally after 2 horrible relationships with a narcissist, and then, and their lesson, they're not able to, whatever part of this world that they're in, whatever life that they're in, hopefully they'll learn and they'll come back as a better person, because it's horrible. I mean, it deprives the person, the empath, of true love, and that's what our goal is with most empaths, is to give love. And if you've known one, or if you are one, you know what I'm talking about. And so then it literally breaks us down, and for me, I don't know if I'll ever love again, and it's hard for me not to want, and that's why I've been inside searching for what my purpose is of this life, because it's been very difficult.
It is, but hey, don't doubt that you will, because you will. There's no doubt, but it does feel like that at times, and I could totally understand that feeling. But and it could be devastating for sure. But it's part of the process that brings us to the point where we're so secure and good in ourselves that we don't really, you're at that point now where you're feeling like, well, I don't know if I'm going to ever love again, and it sounds like you're, kind of coming to terms with that, and you're going to be okay with it. But just when you're okay with it, then the perfect person is going to walk into your life.
True, that's what they always say. And, it's just one of those things that I'm not giving up hope. I'm going to try not to give up hope. And I guess I just want to say I'm thankful that I found this family, because I don't know what I would do personally if I hadn't found you guys, because it's just one of those things that it does seem like a lonely road out there. We talked about that a little bit yesterday or 2 days ago, of being an awake person as it is, and it's how lonely it can be without family understanding you, and then being in your community trying to talk about things, and nobody that you know is understanding what you're saying, or doesn't even want to try to understand. And so I just want to say again, thank you to you guys and to the whole family out there for checking on me and checking on everyone, because we do need to keep up in contact with each other for this reason, because you never know what somebody we portray as friends of who we are. Sometimes behind the back scene, we don't tell everybody what's really going on, and checking in on each other is an amazing thing. And thank you guys for having this family. I just wanted to call and kind of say that too.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. You are a big part of it. And for those that didn't get your name, this is Shannon Ann. So it's Shannon Ann, Prepping Texan.
Yep. So is it getting cold there?
It's about maybe 36 out right now, but actually inside the house, and we just basically have the fire going, it's about 80.
Oh, God. Wow, I'd be burning up.
And we have a brand new kitty actually on our porch right now that's really cute, and she's eating. I tend to feed, well, we both tend to feed everything that comes to our door, so it's just who we are. And this one's really adorable. I haven't seen it before, but.
Oh, good. Good, yeah.
But I do also, I really want to get out and meet people in the upcoming year. And, you know, so.
I think the Peru thing, I'm down for too. I would love to go to Peru, so maybe we should do a trip like that. But also just getting out and around the nation and seeing everybody, that would be cool.
Most definitely. Yeah, I definitely want to. Definitely got to get out that way, and you're in Texas. And need to head west and see family out there in Texas and the Four Corners and all over.
Yeah, that would be great. So, well, I won't keep you all too long. I know a lot of people are calling, but I just wanted to, you know, the empath and narcissist dance, if anybody's going through it, you know, if anybody needs help, you know, I'll talk to you as much as I can, because I've been doing a lot of research on it, and it's a hard one to go through, but there's a reason for it, and there's a reason why we've gone through it. So everybody take care. Much love from Texas, and we'll talk to you later, Michael, okay?
Sounds great. Namaste, sister.
Okay. Namaste. Bye.
Bye. And so that was Shannon Ann. And she, if you guys caught it, she did a report from after Hurricane Michael down there. So there is a video. I think I have her in 2 videos linking to her YouTube too, because she does have a YouTube channel. You could also find her on Facebook. And you know, she's a great person with a big heart, and she's done a lot of help and cleanup after disasters, you know, so it just shows her heart. So it was an awesome night, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll be going live again on Saturday night, probably at the same time. So Saturday night, we hope to see everybody again, and we'll share the love and share our experiences, and hopefully have even more new people calling in and sharing what they've experienced. So let's focus, no matter what's going on over our heads, you know, what's being sprayed on us, let's focus on making the best possible reality of this reality, which we are all co-creators, and we are all tied together. We are all individual waves in an ocean of this collective consciousness, and together united we can manifest anything in a positive, beautiful fashion. So my friends, as always, God bless and namaste.